Welcome to Bible Storytime, and thank you for joining us. Today we move from the initial public displays of Jesus' power, the feeding of the crowds and the casting out of demons, to a pivotal moment of clarity among his closest followers. Away from the noise of the large gatherings in a quiet, strategic location, Jesus presses his disciples on a question that will fundamentally change the trajectory of their understanding and the destiny of the world. This is the story of Peter recognizing Jesus as the Messiah, found in Mark chapter 8. Jesus and his disciples have traveled far north, moving away from the hostile religious centers of Judea, settling near the region of Caesarea Philippi. This location is geographically significant. It was a Roman frontier town, a place dominated by pagan temples dedicated to the Roman Emperor Caesar and the Greek god Pan. A landscape saturated with symbols of human authority, military might, and false divinity. It is here, in this stark setting far from the expectations of Jerusalem, that Jesus seeks an honest assessment of his identity, away from public pressure. He begins by asking his followers what the general populace is saying about him. The disciples report back what they have overheard. The public opinion is that Jesus is a great figure from the past return, John the Baptist risen from the dead, or perhaps Elijah, or one of the other long prophesied teachers. These are tremendous figures, but they are figures of history. Jesus, by his actions, has clearly shown he is something more than history repeating itself. Then Jesus turns directly to the inner circle, the 12 men who have committed the last few years of their lives to him, witnessed his miracles, and absorbed his teachings. He asks the most important question any human can ever be asked.
But what about you? Who do you say I am?
This question demands more than recycling public gossip. It requires personal, divine revelation. Simon Peter steps forward, as he often does, to speak with bold conviction, articulating the essence of everything they have witnessed together. Peter replies with stunning clarity, "You are the Messiah." The word Messiah, or Christos in Greek, meant the anointed one, the prophesied king, the divinely appointed deliverer who would finally restore God's rule over Israel and fulfill all of God's ancient covenant promises. Peter had grasped the ultimate theological truth. Jesus was not just another great teacher or prophet. He was the promised King of Israel. Jesus' reaction is immediate, sober, and serious. He does not allow them to linger in the celebratory glory of that confession. Mark records that Jesus immediately and sternly warned his disciples not to tell anyone about him. Why the intense secrecy? Because the popular, mainstream understanding of the Messiah was fiercely political, a divinely empowered military general who would immediately overthrow the Roman occupation and establish a worldly kingdom. Jesus knew that to announce himself as the political king at that moment would lead to his immediate arrest by the Romans, resulting in a failed movement founded on earthly power, not eternal sacrifice. Jesus had to radically reframe the entire concept of the Messiahship. He now begins to teach them the shocking, counterintuitive truth that had been intentionally obscured until this moment. The Son of Man must suffer many things and be rejected by the elders, the chief priests, and the teachers of the law. He must be put to death and after 3 days rise again. Peter's confession of Jesus as the Messiah was absolutely correct, but his understanding of what the Messiah would do was tragically incomplete. Peter saw the crown awaiting Christ, but Jesus saw the necessity of the cross preceding it. The revelation of Christ's divine identity immediately leads to the necessity of his humble, agonizing suffering. This pivotal moment teaches us that acknowledging Jesus as the Christ is only the vital first step. True discipleship requires accepting the entirety of his kingship, a kingship established not through conquest, but through rejection, suffering, and ultimate glorious resurrection. When we confess Jesus today, we confess him as Lord, which means submitting to his path, even when that path looks like failure, suffering, or paradox to the skeptical world around us. Peter recognized the king, but he had yet to fully embrace the path the king must walk before he could claim his throne. That difficult journey of understanding would only truly begin as Jesus led his confused but devoted disciples toward Jerusalem. Thank you for joining us for Bible Story Time. If this critical turning point in the Gospels inspires you to examine the depth of your own confession of Christ, please like, share, and subscribe. The recognition of the true Messiah leads directly and necessarily to the acceptance of his cross,